This is Brett Denon, making new friends with WMNF Tampa. Sending you love.
The opinions presented on the Healthy Steps show are the evidence-based opinions of Dr. Fred Harvey, the callers, and his guests. These are not the opinions of the staff, the volunteers, or the board of WMNF. The information provided on the show is not intended to diagnose or treat any disease. There is no implied patient-physician relationship in these calls. The nature of the calls is educational and informational only.
Good morning to you, my brave sailors on the ocean radio waves, and welcome to the Healthy Steps radio show here on WMNF Tampa, the only radio station that Porgy Tire Biter streams, and you can stream us as well at WMNF.org. Well, bless my soul, it is Ask Me Anything Monday, and the true measure of this show is your participation, my cherished friends. Do not wrap yourself in the cold cloak of shyness. Don't dawdle. Don't shortchange yourself the opportunity to call into the Healthy Steps radio show. This show depends on your questions, comments, and concerns, and Irene came in this morning expecting, nearly hoping to take your call. Just give us a jingle at 813-239-9663. Again, that number is 813-239-9663. You can send an email to dj@wmnf.org or text us at 813-433-0885. Okay, Dr. Harvey, Ask Me Anything Monday can't get here fast enough for my liking. And I know that you have another spectacular show prepped for us today, and I can see that it's about time for me to shuffle on off into the shadows of the studio and turn this show over to your capable hands. What's up ahead for the show today, Doctor?
Well, good morning and happy last show of the year.
And to you too as well there, Doc.
Hope your holiday was nice, and we'll continue through this week as we... I like your reference there to the sailing on the waves, because we have a big ship about ready to set sail for the last time tomorrow as 2024 leaves us.
It'll be an interesting cruise, let's say.
Yes. 2025, the year of closure, the year of innovation and creativity, because individually, we have to step up and really increase our creativity and innovation to be able to navigate what's coming in our path, I believe.
Yeah, let's hope this isn't the Poseidon adventure.
No, I don't think it will be, but we're going to have some challenges, obviously. And I was reading some things this weekend and saw a doctor doing what a lot of people are doing today. And it's really interesting to watch how these camps of opinion get created and then get fueled by ongoing belief systems in the narrative rather than in the actual reality. And so I saw this doctor denigrating people he called anti-vaxxers. And I think it's really hideous that we are doing this kind of stuff globally. We've really taken a non-decent turn in communications. And I see that the nature of what this man is doing, he's creating xenophobia and hate. He's using hate to throw mean-spirited comments at people. People who don't trust medical therapies are real people, and they have real feelings, and they have real reasons to not trust the medical establishment. There's a really big reason, and we saw it over the last 4 years. The medical establishment lies in a narrative of pseudoscience. And it's really sad that we see this happening, and my colleagues supporting it. The lumping people who don't trust the therapy into a group and calling them a name makes them other. They're still human. And it really makes it difficult because this man was denigrating also the use of nutritional supplementation to navigate health issues. And it just proves that ignorance is even present in highly intelligent and educated people, because that was an ignorant statement. Because there are hundreds of thousands of published clinical trials using nutritional supplements that alter the human physiology and protect us against illness, and actually can alter the course of illness, not by treating diabetes as we do in Western medicine, attacking an illness. No, by doing really rational things. Wow, we're going to support the human physiology with things it needs to do the right thing so it can transcend illness. Rather than treating illness, we support humans, we support health. And to denigrate those of us who recommend nutritional supplements and happen to have done research and found really high quality pharmaceutical grade supplements that have no toxins in and are what they say on the label, and then providing these to our clients because we know they work, because we use them ourselves, it's pretty bad. Because, selling a unnecessary knee replacement is pretty bad. That's an invasive surgery, and not everybody needs it. And if we spend a bit more time working on human function and working on fixing the problems that underlie the issues, we might actually not need to go to invasive, noxious, toxic Western medical attack interventions. Because it's all about war, going to war on your illness. Why else would you allow somebody to cut into your knee, saw through your bone, and put a piece of metal in there, metal and plastic, and tell you have a new knee? No, that's actually a functional metal knee. It's not a new knee. And it's not really a replacement. You're not replacing anything. You're just upgrading with some metal, some of the normal biologic components of the body, which is, it results in complications, and we know this. But what really gets me is that he was so negative about supplementation. And I can tell you that it's really important today because we have invisible killers all around us. And one of those, or many of those, it's in a group of chemicals. I've talked about them before. The PFOS, polyfluorinated substances. They are organic acids and organic compounds that cause so many problems. They are Teflon. They are flame retardants. They are everywhere. They're supposed to be sequestered, but 3M has found that they were showing up in sewage. And recently, the Environmental Protection Agency was asked to look at this again with this milorganite and other raw sewage treated to be not infectious, but to be used as fertilizer on our food. Well, they found that there's lots of the PFOS in those, and they cause problems. The PFOS or PFOA that are being ingested by the cattle and other animals that are eating food that has been grown in poison fertilizer that has PFOS in it, they're having rotten babies. They're having lower fertility. They're having lower birth weight babies. They're having death in utero. They're having all kinds of horrible stuff. Because PFOS and PFOA, they actually create something called oxidative stress. I've talked about it before. Oxidative stress is where your body is on fire internally. Yeah, you have all this metabolism going on, but the body's not able to keep up with the toxicity of the metabolism, and so the toxins are out there causing more damage. It's a cascade effect. It's like when you start a nuclear weapon, the weapon goes critical because it's a feed forward mechanism. That's what oxidative stress is. It burns one thing, which burns another thing, which causes more dysfunction, which causes more burning, and you have destruction of systems. You deplete glutathione, the most important antioxidant and detoxification molecule your liver makes. The reason it depletes it is because it's mopping up the mess, but also PFOS interferes with liver function, and liver is where glutathione is made. When you interfere with the liver, you can't detoxify. You expose your cells to all these nasty substances. And what have we found that PFOS does? It causes cancer. It's causing colon cancer and breast cancer. It causes obesity by interfering with internal cellular function and communication. And due to that, it causes insulin resistance. It causes isletitis, that is inflammation of the pancreas cells that make the insulin. So you can get type 1 diabetes and you get type 2 diabetes from PFOS. It causes thyroid damage, resulting in hypothyroidism or nodules or goiters. It damages the liver. And in doing so, it also damages the liver processing. And so you have high cholesterol, because high cholesterol is a sign that you have been exposed to toxins. And it decreases your brain function. It is associated with neurodegenerative illnesses like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, ALS, and others. Fertility is decreased in humans. Birth weight is decreased. Preeclampsia, or pregnancy-associated high blood pressure, is also found. And interestingly enough, they have found that in utero exposure by the mother results in atopic eczema, a dermatitis, in 2-year-old children. And so that's really a big problem. And it's really not being dealt with because the Environmental Protection Agency must be also purchased by the purveyors of these chemicals, because the EPA was just asked to review this thing and they said it's okay to keep using it. In fact, they promote it. Why are they promoting poisoning our population? Is it poison for profit? Is that really what our nation is about? I really would like to know. I'd like to have some actual answers, not the namby-pamby mumbo-jumbo that talking heads from the government usually spout because they're told to do so by the corporate owners. But back to the supplementation. The man said supplements are stupid, basically. But we can't see and we can't get rid of these polyfluoroalkyl substances. So what do? We don't drink tap water because it's in the tap water. We have proof from the Environmental Working Group that even Sarasota, which doesn't appear to have a lot of manufacturing around, has PFAS in the water because it's everywhere. And so I would recommend that you get a carbon block filter with a GAC resin filter combined. That's what I use. The company's called ATLA, ATLA. There are others that make it. Reverse osmosis also works, but I don't recommend it because we waste water using reverse osmosis. But the carbon block and the GAC resin tend to get like 97% of this junk out, so you're doing pretty well. But supplementation. I'll get to supplementation after I remind everyone that this is an interactive radio show, and I am Dr. Fred Harvey. This is the Healthy Steps radio show on WMNF, America and the world's best little radio station.
Well, ain't that the truth there, Doctor? And so we'll take a little break here and let you know what you've just been told. This is the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa. You're encouraged to give us a call and share your medical questions or concerns by dialing 813-239-9663. Again, the number to call is 813-239-9663. 9663, and you can continue to send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. Back to you there, Doctor.
So I take supplements because I know about these invisible poisons. I take supplements because I know that modern agriculture has depleted our soil such that the nutrients that we got from the food 100 years ago aren't there in the same quantities. And so until we change our agricultural practices, even organic agriculture, which uses the soil test and treat method that conventional agriculture does, they just use organic fertilizers and pest control, things like that, rather than the synthetic poisons that conventional agriculture uses. Biodynamic agriculture, permaculture, sustainable culture, where you actually renourish the land constantly with the compost and put use also a polyculture where numerous plants work together to maintain the health of the land. It's like a permaculture forest. These are actually ways that you get more nutrients out of the food. However, there are specific nutrients from specific foods that we can use to help process these toxic chemicals out of our body. In addition to, cleaning the water, you're going to be ingesting some of this in your food. So you might want to ingest with that some charcoal. Activated charcoal is well documented to bind up these substances. And humic and fulvic acids, which occur in something called shilajit, 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 this resin binds up these toxins. And so it helps to remove them from the body. So there's, pre-exposure kind of work. You're getting exposed in the food, but it's not going to get into your body because you're binding it up in your gut with these things you're going to take with your food. Curcumin. Curcumin is the active chemical, or curcuminoids are a family of active chemicals that come from turmeric, the yellow spice that makes your French's yellow mustard bright yellow. Curcumin helps to alter the body's metabolism of these chemicals and remove them. Quercetin, the red in red apples and red onions. This chemical is very useful in eliminating it as well because it works on similar enzyme systems in the liver to clean them up. And then you want to consider that glutathione is very important, and we can actually raise glutathione levels with N-acetylcysteine, alpha-lipoic acid, and milk thistle. If you take some of all three of them, you actually have a sustained response where your glutathione level goes higher and stays higher, so you can actually bind up more of this junk. And finally, sulforaphane is a chemical that comes out of broccoli and Brussels sprouts. You can get it in extract form, but sulforaphane, as well as curcumin, quercetin, and green tea extract, all activate something called NRF2, nuclear regulatory factor 2. It is this enzyme system that is the mechanism through which these horrible chemicals cause the problems, but is also the same mechanism that can end the problems, because the toxic chemicals interfere with NRF2 and the nutrient phytochemicals actually make it work better. And so this is why I take extra nutritional supplementation, because I know that there's poisons out there I can't see, and I know my body needs help processing this junk that industry has foisted upon us. I think we've got some callers.
Indeed we do. We've got a long-distance caller, Greg. We haven't had him for a while, and I've got Marty in Riverview. Let's go to Greg. Good morning to you up there, Greg.
Morning, gentlemen. Good to hear your voice, and Happy New Year to you both.
And to you.
Thank you. I'm calling on behalf of a dear friend who's got an amazing son. He's 15. He is really into wrestling. He's a great young man, and he's very serious about the sport. He'll do very well in his life with it, but he, as you might know, has a contact skin issue, which the coaches are very well trained in. He's been taken out of practice, which is killing him, but he's now getting progressively worse. They cultured what was going on. I kind of thought it would be scabies because I used to teach high school. It was common with wrestlers because of their skin contact. And they thought it was, but they did a test and it came back MRSA. So he's been on several different antibiotics orally. It's getting worse and worse and worse. Now he has to do daily hydrogen peroxide treatments. They're giving him another antibiotic. They're going to get it cultured again tomorrow. But she feeds her son amazing, healthy, rich, organic foods, filtered water. He's really healthy, but he's getting worse with this condition. Seen multiple dermatologists. I just thought I'd call you weigh in maybe on what it could be. My gut's telling me it's scabies. They're going back to that thought again. But if it is scabies or if it is a bacterial infection, is there something we can do outside the realm of just antibiotics alone to help him? Because they don't want him to be on antibiotics with his gut flora. I get that. They're just concerned about his health. And of course, he wants to get back into wrestling. So maybe you could weigh in on that.
Yeah, so my first thought when you said wrestler and skin was impetigo, most common skin infection for wrestlers because it's about skin contact. It's the only way you can transmit it. Impetigo is staph or strep, and it turns out he has methicillin-resistant Staph aureus. So he has an antibiotic-resistant bacteria associated with wrestling. And so the questions that really come up are, why is he so immune, maybe suppressed or ineffective at getting rid of this thing? does he actually get immune support in some way with probiotics, with other supplements like beta-glucan or immunoglobulin? Like one way that we know that you can clear the gut to some extent of some of these pathogens is by taking immune globulin that's designed for that. There's something called IgY. It's from the egg. I'm blanking on the actual generic product name. But what it is antibodies extracted from eggs from chickens that were inoculated with something like 25, 26 different pathogens, including Staph aureus. And so you have passive immunity that is made in these chicken eggs, and you can extract it, and it actually binds up the staph in the gut, so it will reduce the body burden. And it's unfortunate that my former colleagues don't actually understand that there's science out there that supports all of this and that this is a real thing. They just have been indoctrinated like in a religion of pharma. And so they can't see beyond what the pharma Bible says, like the people that are stuck in thinking certain religious beliefs that interfere with their functioning in normal society.
I would totally agree at all points. Where could we investigate this? I mean, and the generic name, or if you can maybe later in the show or post it on your website so I can point her in the direction of getting, and she would be very much open to that. She's seeking it now.
Wonderful. So you could have her look at the Healthy Steps store. We have product on there. You could have her call the office if you'd like. But the bottom line is you can find IgY. Just look up IgY on your Google search, and you will find this amazing product. There are several different companies that make it. Zymogen is the one that I use. They're the ones that brought it to me. And the substance just is really amazing. When you use these things, you see changes in people's health.
So Zymogen, which I've used that label as well, they would have something if she searched Zymogen's website by typing in IgY as to the name of that specific product that has those antibodies?
Yes.
Okay. You don't have to remember the name now, but I'm assuming they don't have several to choose from. They probably have one proprietary generic name for that particular product made by that company, correct?
Yes, they have several immune globulins. One is IgG 2000 CWP, that's made from colostrum whey protein. But there's the IgY that's made from the egg. And I'm blanking on their brand name, and I'm blanking on actually the company manufacturing generic name. But it's an egg immune globulin called IgY. Like we use IgG in our body, IgA, IgD, IgM, and IgA, but we don't have an IgY. That's an egg antibody. Works the same way in our gut, though.
That's exciting to hear. I really appreciate that insight. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hope this works. Keep us posted.
I will. Thanks again, guys. Have a great New Year.
Likewise to you there, Greg. Always good to have a call from you. And I do have Marty from Riverview on the line, but he's all alone in the WMNF green room. And I'm going to give on out the number so you can give a call and even say a few good words to Irene, who's handling the phones today. You are listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa. And we're inviting you to give us a call at 813-239-9663. Again, that number is 813-239-9663 to participate in this Ask Me Anything Monday show. And you can continue to send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. Good morning to you, Marty.
Hello, Marty.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello there. Lost that one.
Is this Marty?
This is Mark, the mechanic.
Mark, the mechanic. What's going on, sir?
Here is the deal. I have a hydrogen water maker. It was given to me about 12 years ago. I had metallosis from motorcycle wreck. I got too much metal in me. The doctors could not cure me. I was definitely dying. I drank that stuff for about 10 to 12 days. I've never been sick a day in my life, hardly whatsoever. I have no illnesses, even though I've got a little summer cold right now. You might say I'm taking some antibiotics for it. It gets rid of arthritis. You want to look up 27 benefits of hydrogen water. Watch out for the scams on there. A real hydrogen water maker is about the size of a bread maker. They weigh about 12 to 15 pounds. They cost about $900 to about $2,000. They're worth every dime of it.
That's very good information, and I agree with you. Hydrogen is the first antioxidant. Hydrogen helps to bind up all those free radicals. And there is evidence that when you're making your water, you can actually breathe that hydrogen too, and it actually infuses antioxidants basically right into your system. Same thing with the water. It is a very interesting device in addition to anybody's regimen who is having a lot of oxidative stress, but it is pricey. Like you said, it's about $1,000 to $2,000. And so, yeah, but it is a great way to really help quench the free radicals and eliminate oxidative stress in the body.
Here is another deal how you can test hydrogen water from regular water. Hydrogen water. Drink some hydrogen water. I mean, some regular water. Regular water. If you don't know the difference, you can't tell the difference. Ordeal. It goes down like sand. Drink some hydrogen water. It goes down like silk, and your body seems like it can't get enough of it. You just consumingly, addictively absorb it into your body. I swear to God. Instead of you getting full, you sort of like just keep absorbing it, and absorbing it. It's so good for you.
Well, I'm glad you had that response. I find that drinking water goes down like silk too, because I don't have a problem drinking water. A lot of people do, though.
Forgot what I was going to say. Oh, and this new doctor I've met told me that there is 5 other products that even surpass hydrogen water. I forgot what it was that he told me. But he said that hydrogen peroxide, put about a tablespoon of hydrogen peroxide in a gallon of water or something like that. That is not correct. You probably can Google this stuff, and it's just as good.
You probably could. But I don't know about comparing putting hydrogen peroxide versus hydrogen into your water. They're completely different things.
I'm telling you, because hydrogen peroxide will kill skin cells. I was like, how can that be possible?
No, your doctor sounds like he's a little bit confused. Does he practice functional medicine?
Yes.
Wow. We should talk. In any event, I really appreciate your input, but we've got some other callers.
Yep. And carry on and drink hydrogen water. I'm telling you, it will save your life. You don't need no pills. You don't really need too many more doctors, things like that. And when your body is passed up the beneficiaries of hydrogen water, wow, man, I don't know what to say. You're really in for it, but it has cured me many times and all of my friends. I have hardly ever failed except for people that have real bad cancer and are dying, because it even staves off cancer or gets rid of cancer.
It may, but I don't see the evidence of that currently in the literature. But those are great stories. Thank you, and have a great New Year.
I want you to know about it in the literature. That's why it would drive.
Well, no, that's actually not the way that works, to be honest. When published clinical trials get published, they get published. There's no one trying to actually prevent you from publishing information about this. It's just hard to get past peer review sometimes. But there are articles out there. I've just not seen one on actually, open quotes, curing, close quotes, cancer.
Okie dokie. I'm down with just one more person sitting in the queue, David from St. Pete, and I'm not liking this at all. So I'm going to tell folks, give us a call at 813-239-9663 so you can participate in the Healthy Steps radio show with Dr. Fred Harvey here at WMNF Tampa. Again, that number is 813-239-9663, or continue to send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. Good morning, David.
Yes, this is David St. Pete.
Hi, David.
Tell you, hi, and thank you for your service, everything you do. Anyhow,
You're very welcome.
I want to tell you a quick story. A 93-year-old Japanese man pulled up my driveway and gave me a plant, like a bucket you wash a car with. And it was probably 8-10 inches high and kind of bushy with leaves. And he told me, we've been eating this for 4 centuries. We got it from a volcanic island, brought it to the mainland. To this day, we eat it as spinach or lettuce, and we make our tea out of it. And we're the longest living human beings in the world. So I said, yeah, I'll take it. He said, you take good care of your place. I can see. I want you to have this. So I took it, and since he left, I Googled it. Google says, let me tell you, this plant was called Ashitaba. So I Googled it, and Google says it's the leaf of longevity, the leaf of tomorrow. Everybody should be eating this vegetable. It's in the carotenoid and loaded with vitamin B complexes. Well, I've been eating it now for 3 years. My doctor told me I have the best checkup I've had in years. He says, somebody's watching over you. And I showed him a picture of this plant, told him a little bit about it. He said the American Medical Association won't touch it or something like that. He said, but I'm going to study it. Well, I just want to tell you real quick. I have not been sick. My wife, my son, my daughter got so sick with COVID. One went to the hospital. I'm laying here on the couch and they're coughing all over me. And I never caught nothing. I don't catch cold. I smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, sorry to say. And I breathe fine. What I've noticed about the plant is it gets in your cholesterol, I think. Your saliva becomes creamier. You can clear your nose, your sinuses. It's unbelievable. You even go to the bathroom easier. It turns I guess everything that ain't red in your body is cholesterol, and it turns it creamier somehow. I truly believe in it, and it just does wonders for me. That's all.
It sounds like another one of those panacea finds. Ashitaba apparently online is used for heartburn, stomach ulcers, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, gout, constipation, and hay fever. Used for cancer, smallpox, fluid retention, blood clots, and food poisoning. Women use it to increase the flow of blood milk or breast milk. Quite an interesting panacea there. When it has all those effects, I tend to be quite the skeptic. But I do believe that when you eat something like this, it's a carrot leaf. So if you eat carrot leaves, yeah, you're going to get antioxidants, you're going to get phytochemicals. There's going to be benefit. We all benefit from eating a rainbow of plants. Yeah. It's really great.
I eat good, but I go around and I pick 20 of the biggest leaves I can find closer on the vine towards the ground. They're bigger, up to 6 inches long, and I just roll them up. I don't have teeth, so I gum them to death, and it's just, I get all the nutrients, and I wash it down with Gatorade.
Those darn cigarettes took out your teeth, huh?
I know, yeah, they got my teeth and sugar, but the doctor said I'm doing fine, so I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm 70.
Keep doing what you're
How
doing.
long you want to live, you know?
How true.
I'm
thank you for that. Have a great New Year, David.
Well, thank you. It was nice talking to you. It's the first time I called you. God bless you.
I'm glad you did. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Howard in Clearwater. Good morning, Howard.
Good morning. How's everybody?
Great. How are you, Howard?
Awesome. Great show. Thank you. Listen here frequently. Quick question about trigger finger. I'm generally healthy. Not many complaints about things, but I've recently developed a trigger finger in both hands, third finger on the left hand, the third finger on the right, and the thumb. Now, I know there's stretching exercise I can do for that for the fingers, but the thumb is particularly difficult because it moves the opposite direction. Do you have any recommendations for how to deal with that trigger finger in your thumb?
Well, you've got some inflammation going on there, so it could be repetitive use injury, but you have it on both hands and its third finger. That sounds like it could be also working on something called Dupuytren's contractures that happen on the palm of the hands. And I would get somebody to look at it because the Dupuytren's is progressive generally. I've not seen anybody respond to any anti-inflammatory program and generally end up with a surgical release. But you may not be that bad. Most trigger fingers are overuse injuries, and you may want to actually use some CBD ointment and rub it in there, maybe some boswellia and curcumin and siloxicin for some anti-inflammatory, some fish oil, high-dose fish oil. All these things can help reduce inflammation, and you might get some results there.
Okay. I appreciate that. I'll give it a whirl. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Happy New Year.
And to you.
And to you too as well there, Howard. And I do have William, Richard, and somebody calling on in. So let's go to William in St. Pete. Good morning, William.
Hello, how you guys doing today?
Great, how are you?
Doing fantastic, thank you. I've been diagnosed with ADHD since I was in third grade and taken all the myriad of prescribed medications, all with some benefits, but a lot of negative side effects that I care not to have again. Are there any other natural remedies or things that can help with the executive order functioning?
Well, the way I approach people that describe ADHD symptoms is to do a full metabolic workup, because neurodegenerative or neuro disarray kind of disease can be due to a lot of different things. So first I look at elimination. Have you eliminated all artificial colors, artificial flavors, artificial sweeteners from your diet?
I try. I can't say all. That would be a lie.
And so it would be a really good choice to go that direction first. And then you might want to find a functional medicine doctor who can do some neurotransmitter evaluation on you and see what your neurotransmitter balance is. I've found that people that have these kind of symptoms often are low in some of the chemicals that are for communication, like tryptophan turning into serotonin. Dopamine could be low. And so looking at these things and actually optimizing them could be good. And also reducing oxidative stress in your body. I've watched people who have gluten sensitivity eliminate gluten and have the symptoms resolve.
Excellent. Would the oxidative stress, would that have anything to do with drinking hydrogen water? Could that help in that arena?
That could do it. So could taking a good multivitamin, fish oil, curcumin, quercetin, a whole rainbow of vegetables that contain phytochemicals that all work on the same thing.
Okay. And what was the type of doctor that you mentioned that I should possibly see?
A functional medicine doctor. Okay. Functional medicine, excellent. Like me. Yeah, because we actually evaluate the metabolism, unlike the other doctors that simply evaluate endpoint disease markers. Like they talk about liver function markers. No, the only time the markers on their, quotes, liver function test are abnormal is when you have liver disease. So it's not liver function, it's liver illness test. They really need to reframe these things.
Sure. Right, and I'm sorry, I'm late to the show. What is your name, Doc?
Fred Harvey.
Fred Harvey. All right. Thank you very much. I'll look you up. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Take care.
You too as well there, William. Let's go to Richard in Land O'Lakes. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Doctor. I got a question. I fell like a month or two ago, landed on my right shoulder. Thought I broke it, went to the hospital. They said nothing was broken. But now, a couple, 2-3 weeks later, my right shoulder's hurting, and it seems like when I sleep at night, my hand is going numb, and it starts to hurt.
Ah, yeah. Sounds like you have some injury to the rotator cuff and possibly the brachial plexus. That's the nerve bundle that goes through your shoulder or underneath the trapezius muscle. And so the thing I would do is go to a physical therapist or and let a physical therapist evaluate that shoulder and see what's going on there. Maybe see a physiatrist, that's a physical medicine doctor who also deals with these things. Orthopedics would be my last choice because surgery is their first choice, and I would think that this is something non-surgical.
Right. Is there, before this happened, I've been in construction all my life, and before this happened, my same arm would sort of hurt.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you probably are working on some rotator cuff or some neck nerve impingement, something like that. So it'd be worth it to get to a physiatrist or a physical therapist to let them evaluate what's going on there.
I mean, what's the options as far as...
Well, you actually have a doctor look at you, and then they tell you what they think is going on, and then they provide you with a range of options for both diagnostics and for therapeutics.
Which would be what?
Which would be all kinds of things like physical therapy, massage, ultrasound, injections, x-rays, MRIs, surgeries. I mean, yeah, it's a gamut of possibility.
So they did, I'm on, so would it be my cholesterol that would be making it happen to where my veins aren't big enough to get...
No, that has nothing to do with this. This is a physical anatomic problem that needs to be evaluated.
Okay. Okay, I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
All right, have a good day and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
And I do have Jim from Bradenton on the line, and I know that you've got a copious amount of emails as well. But let's go to Jim. Good morning, Jim. We're down to about the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, good morning, Doctor. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, just your comments on tinnitus ringing in the ear. He said I have ruptured eardrums. There's nothing he can do but, fit me with hearing aids. But anyways, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it.
So tinnitus is ringing in the ears. It's an abnormal neurologic sensation, and it usually happens because of high-frequency hearing loss. And many of us have that from listening to too much loud music or being in some kind of job that does that to us. Very little medical intervention is available for tinnitus. It's something that most of us have to learn to live with, unfortunately. But sometimes there are some remedies. It sounds like you've seen an ears, nose, and throat doctor who's actually evaluated the problem and discovered that you have some problems with your eardrum. But you also may have problems in the middle and inner ear, and we don't know where it is. Sometimes when somebody's had ongoing inflammation in the middle ear, they get frozen bones there. And there is microsurgery that can be done to actually free up the bones. But your ringing is probably the nerve, and that's probably something that's happened internally, and it could be from different toxins in the environment. I know that when I was living in my moldy house, my right ear had a lot more ringing in it than it does now. And so I don't believe that there's nothing to be done, but I do believe that surgeons who see surgery as the only option, but don't do the kind of surgery that you need, might actually have no other options for you. So it might be worth it to get a second otolaryngologist opinion. Then it might also be worth it to see a neurologist about their ringing.
Because he mentioned the surgery, but he also said it could possibly do more damage than good. So
it's quite possible. And so maybe you have a reasonable surgeon there that doesn't want to do something that's not necessary because he realizes you don't have the kind of problem that can really respond well to surgery. And the ringing is the issue. That's not likely to respond to surgery, but hearing might improve with surgery.
Right, yeah. I mean, my hearing is, lost bad. 30-something%.
Yeah. So it may be worth another opinion. It may not, but you have a challenge there, definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for your thoughts, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Well, there, Doc, as I said, I know you've got quite a few emails there, but I'm going to give on out the number to give other people just a chance in the last few minutes of the show while you're reading those. And tell them you are listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa. And the number to call is 813-239-9663 to participate. Again, that number, 813-239-9663. And to get to the queue of emails, send your email to dj@wmnf.org. What have you got there, Doctor?
Irene is asking, it seems that there are lots of actors and actresses coming down with Parkinson's. Is this something specific about this? Well, actually, I believe that we just hear a lot about actors and actresses because they're loud, and the media is loud about them. I think that Parkinson's and other neurologic degenerative diseases are obviously being recognized in more and more people. And I think it's probably due to the toxicity. We're having our brains unravel because we're toxic. And so we need to clean up those toxins. Susan asks, could you please touch on chemical ingredients to avoid in eye makeup? Also in lipsticks. And she believes that many of these products are usually made outside of the USA. Well, I would direct anyone who has questions about these kinds of products to the Environmental Working Group. EWG.org is a website of an organization that really polices this stuff up. And they have a subsidiary site called Skin Deep. And they evaluated over 80,000 different products. If your product is not on there, don't use it, because they've evaluated lots of them. And we don't know what's in what they didn't evaluate, but you can see the clean ones. And so I would direct you there. Domain Art says, question, what might be a cause or causes for accelerated aging? And accelerated aging would be, she says she has hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's. Well, Hashimoto's is an autoimmune disease. Autoimmune diseases cause accelerated aging. So dealing with the autoimmune disease Hashimoto's in a way other than just throwing Synthroid at it would be smart. One of the first things I tell all of my clients that have Hashimoto's is to eliminate gluten today. Peter says, I'm wondering if I should drink grapefruit juice like Ruby Red in the morning as opposed to orange juice. Does grapefruit juice, is it better than orange juice? I hear it eats fat. I'm confused. I do take vitamin C, pretty healthy. I'm just confused about juices. Well, I tend to not do juice because drinking a glass of sugar water isn't really the smartest thing to do for your metabolism. I eat Ruby Red grapefruits. I think they're delicious. I think that the chemicals in the grapefruit really help to modify the way our liver works, and it slows down some of the processing of certain things that we don't want to create toxins from. But it will also interfere with certain medications. So you have to be very careful about using grapefruit. If you're on certain medications, then I would check with an online drug and nutrient checker like drugs.com has, or ask your doctor or your pharmacist, because grapefruit juice will slow the metabolism of a medication called Procardia, which is a calcium channel blocker heart medicine. It will slow it so much that it can actually cause a person to die. In fact, the founder, the guru, the creator of functional medicine, Jeffrey Bland, brilliant PhD, told us in about 1998 in May that there would be a drug-nutrient interaction with grapefruit juice because of the chemical naringenin, and that would be a very serious one. And 6 months later was the first recorded Procardia grapefruit juice death. And I knew that I was actually learning from the right people to continue my medical practice. And then let's see, Phil says, should I get the respiratory syncytial virus vaccine, 69-year-old in good health? Well, I just read an article that they pulled one of the vaccines because it was actually causing kids to get worse. If you're really in good health, it is recommended by the CDC that even though you're in good health and you're over 65, you get all these vaccines. There is no treatment for RSV, but you can support yourself with all of the things that I normally talk about on here, the normal things that would protect you from COVID or even treat COVID, autoimmune inflammation syndrome. And so I'm not one that recommends that everybody go get all vaccines all the time, but you can read the CDC recommendations and use your judgment. An anonymous caller asked if we would let Greg know that Manuka honey may help with this problem. So Manuka honey, yeah, it's an interesting honey that has some biologic properties. And it's kind of like using the IgG directed immunoglobulins. There is some biologic activity. I don't know what Manuka does, but there's some good anecdotes out there. But we do have clinical evidence that IgG26, otherwise known as IG26DF from Zymogen. There are other brands out there, but it's the hyperimmune egg supplement. Works great. Daniel is asking, he's 67 with neuropathy in both feet, was told he was pre-diabetic. Let's see. He had such bad sensation that he didn't notice that a piece of plaster was in his shoe and it wore a hole into the bottom of his foot. He is being treated with antibiotics. So actually, I think there's a lot going on there, but doing good local care, getting good protein, vitamin C helps to heal soft tissue. Orthosilicic acid, organic silica in the form of Regenemax helps to grow new collagen. Extra protein helps to grow new collagen. Let's see, David is on the line, I believe.
Yes, we'll go back to David there, and it looks like somebody else is ringing in as well. Good morning, David.
Yes. I forgot to ask you, Doctor. I sell these plants, and I had a lady come back and tell me she's been studying it, and I don't know where she found this. I didn't ask her. She said that any of the SARS viruses, and I guess there's a lot of them that come from SARS, will not enter your body if you're on Ashwatthana. It will not make you sick from any of them. Do you know anything about that?
That's another interesting anecdote, and I believe there's probably not a lot of clinical evidence. I bet that came from some YouTube video.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, well, that's all. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And let's go back to, it looks like Maddie called on back. Hello there.
That's another interesting anecdote.
Well, I've got, let's go to Chris in Gainesville.
Hi, I just wanted to mention that I'm 71 and have Dupuytren's contracture. Both my father and sister had it and ended up having extensive surgery. I was told to try some yoga moves, particularly clasping my hands, turning my palms out, clasping them very tightly, fingers between fingers, turning my palms out and just kind of stretching forward and stretching my fingers that way. It's turned out to be very good for me. My Dupuytren's contracture has actually reduced greatly in all but my pinkies, almost gone except for my pinkies. They're still a little curved, but I just wanted to say that yoga seems to help greatly with my Dupuytren's contracture.
I'm really glad to hear that because you're the first person that's told me any kind of physical intervention like that has helped. I know they work, but I didn't want to talk a lot about it. I had hammer toes, and yoga and Qigong actually eliminated my hammer toes. So, yes, these things can work.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, let's go back to the emails there, Doc. It's gone quiet in here, and we're down to about the last minute.
I will do so. And Robin has blessed us with a Happy New Year poem. And she says, a Happy New Year should be based on having 365 Happy New Days. Here's wishing you many Happy New Days. And to you also, Robin, here is the New Year poem. In the blink of an eye, time goes by. Another day's dawn, another year gone. Tick-tock the clock. Time take stock about what you did or what you hid deep in your heart. Deep in your soul. A new goal? A new dream? Your eyes gleam for what's ahead and for what you said would be. Robin Z. Thank you. And I just want to wish all of you a very happy New Year. I'll see you next week for another show of Ask Me Anything. And I want to thank Bill for a great year. Thank you for being there in the studio for me all this year. And thank you, Irene, for answering the phones.
Pleasure's been mine there, Doc. It's been 52 weeks of just a fun time. And I want to thank Irene as well. She's been making this show sound so good. Y'all take care. And until next week, stay healthy. You have been listening to the Healthy Steps radio show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa. Waiting for you like a true friend is 5 minutes of NPR News, followed by the Sustainable Living Show, hosted by the Gypsy Queen of Sustainability, Tanya Vidovic. Until next Monday at 10 a.m., thank you for supporting and listening to the Healthy Steps radio show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa, your community conscious radio station. Stay safe, stay thoughtful, and know that you are loved.
Recording in progress.